All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:30. What time is it? 6:33. I'm 3 minutes late. I apologize. It is 12:26, so that means it's post Christmas, post Hanukkah. Actually, Hanukkah goes on for a bunch of days, but the first day is usually when I think the big presents happen. That's what I do in my house. Some people are like, "Hey, Red Dog, I thought you were Jewish." I'm like, "I am Jewish, but my wife's Italian, so we celebrate both." Chase is a pizza bagel, so we get the best. We get the best of every world, and at this point. It's quiet out there in my office. I drove from my house. Feels like everyone's still on vacation. Everyone is still doing what they do. And again, if you're not on vacation and you're trying to trade and continue to make some money for December and for the fourth quarter, you got to make sure you're prepared. I know on Christmas Day, everyone's like, Red Dog, oh my God, what a big 3-day move. I'm like, well, what you probably want to do is you want to reduce a little bit of positions into this spot. And if you look at the spot, you know, you go right here. Oh, I got to present it. You'll see this is like the scene of the crime, right? What do they mean by the scene of the crime? Well, where something happened and it was a crime if if you were too long and they took your money. But anyway, if you remember on Fed Day, we broke down from 602-ish, which was right here. Okay, so again, if you sold when we broke this upper channel when the Fed was a bit more hawkish, you actually had a great new entry. That was Wednesday on that Friday as we kind of went below 585, went below 583. You had 580.91 and then reclaimed this spot. So that gave you an actionable entry versus the low. And then if you do, and then the day after, you were able to buy a dip, and then you had some follow through into Christmas Day. Some people are like, well, they marked it up for Christmas. I'm like, well, whatever they did, if you participated, you don't care. If you started to short on this day because you like we're going down to here, you know, even though we went up on low volume, could you handle it? But either way, it was pretty methodical with my technique where if you sold and reduced a lot of risk here, you didn't take that much pain. You had a small inside day at the bottom end of the range that turned into a nice viable move. So now what? Um, again, they say that the Christmas rally is between now and through the new year, and the spies are down 25 handles. I don't think it's the end of the world. If anything, actually, it's probably, there'll probably be a few good dips to buy. Like the spies are down 226. I actually got a little overhedged into the close. I was short some premium, so I'm actually happy about this. So now I could actually cover some shorts and then maybe look to be long verse. We took back all the moving averages here. If we're going to continue to rally into, New Year's, which I'm not saying we are, but we could, I would think we hold 595.75. That's a pretty good spot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on the open, cover probably 2/3 of the spies that I have short and then see, what I could add. Like right now, I'm pretty big Tesla, and hey, Tesla's of $160, spies are down 220, not really giving you much pain. Not the end of the world. So we'll see what's viable to go red to green. So you cover some of the short, some of your hedges, you buy some things to go red to green, and you continue to manage, whatever portfolio approach you have. I reduced a lot of my portfolio approach here, and then I kind of dipped my toe back in here, and it wound up being, a really good 3 days. So again, 595.75, that's the spot. You look at the Qs also. I would say as long as it holds, 524-ish, still pretty good. Took back all the moving averages. Same way, broke the inside range, and then you had a way to re-enter on that Friday. Everyone's looking at the same thing. And then IWM had a very feeble move, just trying to poke its head above this little lower range. This has been broken. 244 was a high, and we've been below the 8 days since. So maybe there's more or not. What's the IWM doing this morning? IWM is down 90 cents, so maybe that's viable. So take a turn to a good day. If we hold that area and we have an inside action in the spies and we see some outperformance in names that we've been trading, I think that today could be a good day trading wise. I'm pretty optimistic, and having a hedge on into that area helped. If you look at Tesla, it's like wow. Tesla held right around the 8 day where you had the spies get below the 50 days. So what is that? That's relative strength, right? That's a lesson I've been teaching you guys since, I've been doing this for 30 years. Anyway, you could have got out with this red dog reversal sell up here as it was really extended from the 8 day, and the market also was temperamental, and then been able to buy back versus 417 area. Then it got through this point, and who knows? This thing could be 500 January or so. We'll see. But for now, I'm long some, so it's actually helping me. Stock selection matters. Yes, it does. So Tesla looks pretty good. What else looks pretty good? Just saying Mag 7 land. Obviously, Apple made a new high. Pretty interesting, awesome. Just again, you had a red dog reversal here, got below 247.09, and then look at this, just igniting move. This could have got you out. I get it. Okay, got me out. And then if you were out, you could have been thinking clearly and bought it when it reclaimed 247.09, and then all of a sudden 258. And I will say, I talk about different time frames and whatnot. I put the monthly chart up of Apple, just going to show you that, if you're an investor in Apple, this could have changed your life. There's an interesting article I read about things that have happened in the last 20 years. Okay. In the last 20 years, what did you have in the last 20 years? You didn't have Bitcoin 20 years ago. So if you found Bitcoin at 1,500, it could have made you rich. I don't think 20 years ago, NVIDIA was, a play yet. There's a whole thing. I'm going to get the list. And I was just saying to Chase and his friends and my cousins, I posted some pictures of Christmas Day in the city with my cousins, and they're all in their 20s. And it's so cool to see the new changing of the guard. Some of them are in finance, some of them are in real estate, and they're like, oh my God, are we ever going to be able to make money in this market? It's so elevated and such rich valuation. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm going to post, I'm like, look at these 20 crazy, there was no SpaceX. I don't even think, was there Tesla 20 years ago? I don't even know. All I'm saying is that within the next 20 years, there's going to be new arenas and new sectors and new things that go up 10x. And if you're on your toes and you follow the right people, chances are you could be a little bit ahead of the game, besides having a 401k and a 529 and a 403b and a blood on the street account and an active account and a swing account and all the things we do to manage. Anyway, let me say good morning to some of my dogs around the world. Who do we got here? It's the same time to make the bagels or the donuts. That's true. You bought 5,000 Apple in 1995. Come on, do you still own it, or $5,000 worth? Yes, pizza bagel. You're one of those also. Yeah, well, I have an Italian wife and I'm Jewish. Somebody was like, "Why are you posting a Christmas tree? Aren't you Jewish?" First of all, I think everyone should have a Christmas tree. It's just so much fun and so festive. But I do have a Christmas tree, and I had a menorah because I got to do both, because I'm Jewish, my wife's Italian, and we celebrate both. What's up, Austin? What up, Bobby 4.0? How you doing? What up, Cobblestone? We got everybody doing their thing. Today's Boxing Day. Bears ready to fight? Yeah, I don't think. I just think that, again, we got so extended. The Spies are down 2 and change now. Like, you put things in perspective. Look at the move that the Spies had. Spies went pretty much right to where you would, want to take some risk off and maybe reshort, right? Look where we were on that Friday. This was your perfect entry. And then you could have bought a dip making a higher low. So into this area, you would think, we need to digest a little bit, probably above 595.75. There were some, things that I also got into. You look at Oklo. This looks better again. If you remember these names, these nuclear reactor, however you want to say them. I caught a really nice trade here, a really beautiful move up into the highs, and now it's been going sideways for a while. So I think that's something to look at off the bean path. I bought SMR. This kind of, we had this one also that broke trend up here. Looks like it's starting to get better. But again, you never know if these are going to be like new real active sequences or they're just, just trades. Somebody said that what's his face, the Roaring Kitty, whatever his name is, said something about, he didn't say anything about in GME in particular, but I was talking to you guys about this. I don't like meme names, it's not, but I like trading technical action, things that could move. And this actually looks like it could be getting above 32 and might have a nice move. I think I'm in stock and options. Let's see. No, I'm just in options. Okay. Anyway, we'll see if this wakes up. I like to do it on the holiday, and maybe there's a chance that continues. What else was it? Oh, I talk about the January effect, and a lot of you guys did these with me. 2 weeks ago, I bought a few hundred calls of a few different things. One of them was BlackBerry. My goodness, what a move. Anyway, I was buying it down here. So that was a nice surprise. Sometimes you have a nice surprise. All of a sudden you're getting something. It wakes up, gives you a day one. This was like a day one. Came in, retested, another move, retested, and look at that. I've taken a lot off there. Lucid's been good for, a name that came off the lows that if you weren't trapped in, this was a nice little entry around 220. I actually bought this for Chase at 220 in his Robinhood account. I think it can continue to 440. I'm in some energy names for the January effect, not barn burners, but I do think this Oxy might have put a low in. This should be your bottom for now through January. Maybe we get to move back up to here. But again, Buffett was one of the few positions that Buffett is adding to. VAL is a name that hasn't done that yet. But friends of mine in Puerto Rico have a huge fund and they're super long this, so we'll see. Let's see, what are people saying here? Any analysis on Palantir? Palantir has just been unbelievable. Hopefully you made some really good money there. The next 20 years will be a lot like the last 20. Opportunities mixed with difficulties. Why America is such a fantastic country. There you go, Bobby. It's true. Always glass half full, my friend. You want to see Palantir? Palantir? What a move. Yeah. I've taken out little pieces of this move, but I can't say that I'm proud of myself. I did not take enough out of this. Just didn't. But again, I'm not fighting it either. Sometimes people get out of a trade and they feel like they need to short it. That's going to lose you money. You don't need to short or move a stock just because you get out of it. But anyway, this is great. It's a little extended, so I wouldn't be just buying it up here. Reddit looks interesting. Reddit, at least it's sideways. Some are long versus 157. This seems like it's ready for new highs. Reddit I did really well with power plays in a lot of my community. We had it all the way down here. So this is something you can put on the radar. I like it. I like Reddit. Dash is rebuilding. Not so bad. Broke this 173 area. It still doesn't look as good. Like this was part of like my three amigos. I had Reddit, Dash, and Palantir, and Dash broke. But again, my guys are saying this is going to be a $230 stock, which it looks like it technically next year. So don't lose sight of Dash. Look at this cup. Now it's starting to build a handle here. And at some point, probably going to get into this 220, 230. So that's something that I would continue to focus on. Scott, do you think we are going to see some tax selling pressure in the first couple of trading days? It could be. Sometimes, again, people play January effect names because, pressure is off those names in the last week because everyone took losses there because they had so many gains. But someone's holding on to like an Apple or whatever, or Tesla even, and then all of a sudden, come first week of January, like finally I can lock this in and pay taxes in a year from now. So sometimes the strong stocks get a little selling pressure, but you also have new quarterly flows, new yearly flows. So it depends what's stronger. Are the new flows going to be buying the winners, and is that going to help, with with those taking profits? That's why they say sometimes so goes January, so goes the year, or the first 5 days are really important because you get to see who's stronger than who. And it gets to be a little erratic. Just because something's up big, don't be like, I'm going to short this because people are going to take their gains in the first few days. It all depends on how it goes. But for now, it's December 26th, and we'll see how it goes. Again, I'm looking really, for me, I'm thinking that I'm constructive on this tape through year end, especially if the SPYs could hold this 595-ish area. That would make it look real nice and rebuilding real well. If it were to break this, it starts to get sloppier. Then all of a sudden it's like, hey, what's going on here? I think you have to keep an eye, obviously, on the TLTs. They reversed on Wednesday, but they're down a bunch. And whenever rates make a new high, the sellers come in. They do when new thresholds. So right now, the TLT's low, 86.98 is the low from Christmas Day. I'd watch that. If we get below that, computers might sell a little bit. 86.98, it's right here. But we'll see. What about Avago? Avago's leader. Avago looks great. Avago, if you look at some of the semis, AVGO looks like something that is acting better than most. You have a big gap up post earnings, came in, made a higher low, and Avago looks pretty good. What's it doing this morning? Is it down this morning with everything else? Oh, look at that. As I said, what's it called? Positions matter, or stock selection. Avago, if you came in like, oh my God, the futures are down, but you're in Avago, look at that. You're not in any pain. If you're in Tesla, you're chilling. Even I think NVIDIA is not the worst case scenario here. NVIDIA just had a big move. I'm long a little NVIDIA. I'll probably buy NVIDIA. We'll see if NVIDIA holds, this little doji low. I feel like, it's still acting better, but it doesn't look as technically solid or as strong as AVGO right now. It just doesn't. So kind of flip this around like this. As long as NVIDIA holds 138.65-ish, maybe this little sequence holds. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I've been treating NVIDIA not a trend, not a special name. I've been treating it as a range trade. At this point, it was up 3 huge days in a row. So what's the big deal that it's down a little bit? This is the real line in the sand, though. This is where all the moving averages are, right around here. So right now, what is that? 136.65, and NVIDIA right now is right around there. No, actually, no, it's at 138.69. So what did I say? This is 138.65, 138.69. So we'll see if this holds. If it gets below, sometimes they'll get some people out. It comes back above, the drill. Then it takes some of the pressure off. Meta, Meta made me some really good money. Meta, I talked about getting back to 600. I was buying Meta calls into that down move. Sometimes for me, it's easier to buy calls because risk is premium paid. We were buying, I think the 605s, I was buying them for like $2 and I was selling them for 4 or 5. I think I even sold some for 6. Actually, I don't have any Meta coming in, any Meta options. So maybe today I'll buy some Meta. What's Meta doing today? Meta's, I bet you, is down a little bit. Yeah, it's down 224, 605. So you can almost go like this now for Meta, as long as it holds 599. Seems like it's could head still towards 611, 616. So, might as well change up some price points. You know what? Amazon was pretty good. Amazon also, I bought during that big down day, and I was able to sell some into Wednesday's action. Nice move here. Got above 227. First thing it did is it took back 224 to show some power. Then it held it, and there's still room here if it wants it. So this too also, as long as this holds now, say 226-ish, could be a good opportunity. So maybe this goes from red to green. So again, these charts went from being potentially broken and done, which is what happened on Fed Day, potentially. Listen, if this would have if this would have been like this and stayed below this area and created a bear flag to the downside, then you're that weak. But having a reclaim here, making a higher low, getting back above the 50-day right there, the market was telling you it's not as weak as everybody's saying, and there's more opportunities. So with that said, it's 6:51. 2 days left this week, and then you do have a bunch of trading days into the year end. If you're around, make sure you're prepared. If you're around, try and just make small decisions to make good money. I'm in here also setting up the table, setting up shop for next year. Got a few exciting things happening that Red Dog's very excited about, which you guys will learn about soon. And just trying to add some value and make sure that you guys are even keel and balanced going into year end. I know for me, holiday season, I eat a little bit too much. It's hard not to eat too much. Every day is a different house and a different family, and I rarely ever eat dessert. I had apple pie on Christmas Eve, and yesterday I had one of the cookies my wife made, besides having glasses of wine and lasagna and all these things. So I'm looking forward to January, where I'm going to start a crazy 90-day challenge. And hopefully you guys do it with me, where we're going to come up with a great diet. I'm going to weigh myself in, and I'm going to give myself a goal by April. So hopefully you guys will do it with me. If you're feeling a little extra chunky from the holidays, it happens. That's why everyone makes their New Year's resolutions. I don't like calling it a New Year's resolution because I like to control what I can control whenever I want to control it, but it's always good to do it after a little bit of an indulgement time, right? Holiday cheat days, Bobby. You know that. That's why you said you're turning into Bobby 5.0. So these are my dogs that are talking to me that I'm looking at. So I'll also figure out a better way to have some of you guys interact with me while I'm, you're doing a 7-day water fast coming up in January. Well, I don't know if I'm going to do 7 days, but I'll definitely do 36 hours, and I'll do every Monday, which we'll do. All right, Sully, AMD, Anthony, I don't know. Everyone always wants to buy AMD. It's almost like everybody that always wants to buy BABA. I'm not even going to leave you with AMD because I don't want to put AMD in your guys' heads. All right, guys, appreciate you. I got to do my 40 charts while I'm here and move along. Good luck today.